If you've been following along, you know that I'm in a new entrepreneurial class. I am so excited about this class. However, my history with business and when I was a business major, well, it didn't go so well. So I was nervous the first day that I walked into this class, and I actually experienced a pretty big disorientation. You might find it odd that I still experience disorientations every once in a while. People ask me, they're like, Tina, don't you heal learning differences? Don't you help people be able to focus? Yes, absolutely, I do. However, ADHD is part of my story. It's been part of my story my entire life, and it was much later in life that I discovered that I had a learning difference. I just always knew I could lose my train of thought. I knew that I had to work harder behind the scenes to get the grades that my peers did, and I dealt with a lot of anxiety and stress due to learning, especially in certain subjects. Business, or my business classes, were definitely one of those. My ADHD is actually my superpower. It's because of my ADHD that I was able to invent the sound device. It was because of ADHD that I realized that I had a learning difference, and also how I could help my students be able to be successful because they did learn differently. So did I heal ADHD? Why would you heal something that's amazing and it's a superpower to have? However, there are challenges related to having a learning difference, especially when you're undiagnosed, or even if you're diagnosed and you're not getting the correct information. In my last video, I talked about a huge disorientation that I haven't experienced in a long time. That still does happen to me every once in a while. It is embarrassing. I don't like when it happens, and sometimes it kind of throws me back into some of the negative experiences I had when I was much younger. The difference now is I know how to work my way out of it. I know what is happening. I know how to make it better. And in that class where I experienced the big disorientation, that's exactly what I did. I realized I lost my train of thought. I refocused myself because I had the sound device on. Now I had the sound device on. It was tucked down underneath my shirt so nobody knew that I had it on. It was turned down to a level that nobody else was hearing it. And I quickly pulled myself back into the class so I could participate. Now, there was a time in my life when something like that would have happened and I wouldn't have been able to pull myself back into the class. I wouldn't have heard anything that the teacher said or my fellow students said until the end of the class, where I would have went home. I would have been really embarrassed, devastated. It would have affected my self-esteem. I would have spent the evening feeling really awful about myself, and then kind of pulled myself up by my bootstraps, studied really hard so when I went into class the next day, it wouldn't happen again. Thank goodness that stress of what I used to do is a thing of the past. If you would like to learn more about the sound device, about focus, about having a learning difference, comment below and let's get you well on your way to focused success. Thank you.